What is up, Pop Squad? Andrew and Luke back again. Today we're going to talk about New York Toy Fair 2019. A lot of huge announcements, so we're going to just try and get right to it. A lot of stuff to talk about, like 50, 60, or more items were announced. So we're all really excited about what they were showing, and, we're going to highlight it. Oh, let's get this Toy Fair-ish started, right?
Yes, so many things to get to, especially with everything that they announced.
There was over 60, 70 posts by Funko and other sources. So, a lot of stuff to get through. It would take 3 hours or so for us to get through everything. But, we're going to try and summarize a little bit, show you a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so you can see on this first screen they have, some music, some anime. So they went through it and did a lot, and they tried their best to get something from every little bit that they could.
Yeah, they tried to group it well, unlike I feel like they usually do, where they just mishmash it. But I think the thing I'm most excited for was one of their first or second posts. It was the Simpsons. I'm super excited to see this line back. Simpsons is definitely, I'm going to say, the most iconic animated TV show in America.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. And the fact that they, 30 years later, they're still getting renewed for multiple year contracts because of how well they're doing. It makes sense. And especially with these pops, that people were clamoring for it. They came out. They were probably one of the original lines where people were like, we really want these. These are, really ones you have to have.
I feel like that was a big thing with Toy Fair this year. They were reviving lines that hadn't been, since Funko started. And you'll see that going on. But yeah, these 8 Simpsons pop they showed look really great. So many iconic characters in The Simpsons. It feels like it's a shame just to do 8.
Yeah.
Because you could do literally 500 characters.
And I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. They have the image online where they have a huge poster of every single character they've ever had on The Simpsons. And the thing is huge. Every single year they have to update that picture. It's crazy. But the favorite one is Homer in the Moo Moo.
Yeah, I love that episode when, he's just like, I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to just be obese and get paid for it and, sit at home. Such a funny episode. But yeah, you have Bartman, Up and Atom, Radioactive Man.
Yeah, and it's funny that they did these 8, and you think, they didn't do Marge, which I guess maybe they're like, oh, maybe it didn't sell well. Maybe they didn't really want to do it. But it's cool that they actually, added some new characters too. Mr. Burns, of course, and Mo, looking as ugly as always. Poor guy.
Well, it's they could always do Wave 2, and I guess they did Marge back in that original line. They didn't do Lisa or Maggie,
yeah,
so
yeah.
You got to give the other girls some love.
Yeah, but I think they did. This line is a good start, and I bet you we will see more coming from this. Another thing to mention here, Yu Hakusho. People were expecting this, talking about it. Rumors were coming up, and you finally have it. I never watched the anime, but I know, for being one of the, it's a huge anime. Came out in the early '90s. People have always said that's some of their favorite animes. Not that many episodes if you want to watch it, but I think it's cool that they actually have this line here that they announced.
Well, I feel like DBZ and Yu Hakusho are some of the forerunners to Americans for anime.
Yeah, right. Definitely for a lot, and I think I don't know really where anyone would be without Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, because I don't know if we'd even be watching as much anime now because of just how really basic that show was, but it just showed so much power levels and people didn't even think about it, and then you have this.
Yeah, because now anime is
it's huge.
It's regular,
you can,
in America.
Yeah, and if you can even see they announced Fairy Tail and My Hero Academia, so it kind of makes sense, and they're just gonna keep pushing it. Or they also just announced the Boruto line. They got the license, so that's gonna be crazy too.
Yeah, something we're looking forward to, right?
Yep.
Well, you
definitely.
are. But the next one that I guess I was really hyped for, they showed they added more to the ad icons line. They had Jolly Green Giant, both the adult and the kid.
Yeah, and the thing that was weird was they definitely have done this before, but they announced the ad icons at separate times. They had the Jolly Green Giant, and it was just a picture of the older Jolly Green Giant and the younger Jolly Green Giant, and they announced one with Target 2-pack. So we're not sure yet if they're gonna do 2 separate one. They're gonna do separate releases where you can get them alone, and you can get the 2-pack, or you can just get the 2-pack. We're not sure yet of what they're doing. I'm thinking that it's gonna be both, where you can get either individual or 2-pack, but you never know until they actually make the official announcement for it.
Right, because it'll be crazy if it is just the Target 2-pack. People will be rushing to the stores and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But then one, I've been clamoring for even. They showed the Kool-Aid Man finally. This one, it was just kind of like concept art. It seems like Jolly Green Giant, they had more into production already.
People were talking about seeing it there too, but not Kool-Aid Man. Kool-Aid Man actually looks, the design actually looks perfect. Looks almost absolutely perfect. I don't really see anything else they could change for it.
Right, I guess you'll just have to see how it looks in 3D, see if they got the dimensions of the gut right.
That's what I'm thinking. Or I'm thinking about the actual the jug. Is it going to be clear? Like how clear is it going to be? What's it going to look like? Especially to
I think that inside would be one. Super forward thinking that they could do so many variants for. You could do kind of like a see-through Kool-Aid or like a glow-in-the-dark kind of thing, or you could change the color of the Kool-Aid.
Exactly, yeah. But it's cool that they did it. Happy that Andrew's been calling it for probably the past year, and now you finally have it.
Oh yeah,
there you go. Next, they also had
Speaking of icons,
they announced some sports icons with Babe Ruth and Ali. Ali is in his it's his famous pose in his boxing match against Sonny Liston, where he has him knocked down and he's looking over Sonny Liston from above as Sonny Liston is on the mat.
Yeah, with both Babe Ruth and Muhammad Ali, they did a great job of getting them in poses that everyone knows. You could show anyone that picture and they might not know who it is, but you've seen Ali standing over Sonny Liston where he has the glove out and he's yelling at him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they did perfect. And we were talking about this before, and Andrew mentioned it. He said, "I'm glad that they did different poses because he was saying last time we talked about baseball, we mentioned how every single pose was just the same. It's a different uniform.
Yeah, it's just the guy with the bat to his side or the pitcher, leaning over the mound. If you took off that uniform and just had all those guys in regular shirts, you wouldn't know who's who."
Exactly. So I think it's great that they did this, especially with Babe Ruth, and it's called Shot. It's, something that's perfect that they do that.
Right, because everyone knows, Babe Ruth called the home run and then, hit it.
And then
he's a legend.
It's been the legend ever since.
I guess I'm wondering, they came out with Jordan, now Ruth and Ali. What other sports legends are?
They could literally go through any. They could go through. They've had. They actually had. The ones they did first was the NFL Legends one, where they had a bunch of them at once. So it kind of makes sense. This progression that they're doing.
I guess with those. The players, at least, it was kind of the same thing where it was just a helmeted guy.
Yeah.
The coaches, you knew Tom Landry, who he was because of the hat. But I do hope that they do more details like they did with Ali and Ruth.
Speaking of baseball, and something that we were actually talking about and were wanting for a long time, they announced their revival of their mascot line, and they've had some of these mascots that they've released before, but now they're bringing them back. They're re-releasing them, and then they're adding way more mascots.
Yeah, they had, I believe, only 5 or 6 before. Now they have 15 or so.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that, especially if you have one of your favorites on here. They pretty much did everyone. I think everyone who has a mascot, they did. I can't think of anyone. I know the Yankees don't have a mascot, so it's not there. I don't know if the Dodgers have a mascot.
I do like, though, with the mascots, because players change so frequently, you might buy a player and then, he's traded that season. So it's I bought this pop for nothing, or, if you only like the team. So this is something that you could buy and,
and it's
Mr. Met's not getting traded.
Yeah. No, there's no, well, you never know. But it's...
they sell them because they're that desperate, huh?
You don't have to worry about it being temporary. This is going to be long-lasting. They're not going to change these mascots. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone change a mascot.
Well, which one's your favorite out of these mascots? Because I think they all look really good.
They look really good. I think it comes down to really not the design of the pop, but the design of the mascot. And I like Slugger from the Royals. He actually has a crown for a scalp. Kind of looks like Bart from The Simpsons, but it's actually a crown. kind of fused into his head.
I guess 2 caveats I take from this. One, the Orioles mascot is naked.
First naked pop.
Which I think is weird.
Definitely the first naked pop. He has no what? He has no clothes on.
Yeah, he has no shirt, no pants. He wears shoes, though.
I guess
for the traction, on
the grass. That's this type of guy he is. I don't understand.
He's ripped, though.
Yeah, he's jacked. Works out.
And then my other caveat I take from this, I think it's funny that they did Teddy Roosevelt, because he's the mascot of the Nationals, as like a MLB pop before they did like a president's line of pops.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see a president's line of pops.
I mean, we already got what they did the chief Donald Trump already, right?
Donald Trump. They did Obama. They did Clinton. They did Sanders.
Oh well,
they did a couple of them.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Hillary, not Bill. Clinton. Little Simpsons joke for you, all you suckers out there. What?
What?
I don't know what's going on.
The next one I was super excited for, though. I guess taking a different direction, movie-wise, we got Forrest Gump.
Yeah, and
love Tom Hanks.
And this one has so many options that they could do. We may see more lines, we may not, but they picked, what they think is, to me, probably his most famous scenes, the ping pong competition, and when he has the box of chocolates. But they could have done anything. They could have done him in the war. They could have done him with Lieutenant Dan on the boat. They could have done him with...
where's Jen A?
Yeah, with Jen A. They could have pretty much done anything, and they chose these two. So we don't know what else they could do. What was one that you were mentioning?
I thought they would have did when he was running for the year, and he had like the long beard and
the hat and the raincoat. Yeah,
because I guess to me that's what I think of when I think of Forrest Gump.
Yeah, because I mean
there's so many different time periods in Forrest Gump. Like you said, you could do a million different things.
But I think they did good with what they chose. Maybe we'll see. Maybe they'll come out with more, like I was saying before.
I think they did a really good job this year of varying up a lot of different TV shows and movies. And I know you were excited for. They have both The Office and Community, and a bunch of other shows. Yeah.
So with these, The Office pretty much started when we started. Like, people were wanting The Office when we first started collecting. People were saying, "When's The Office coming? When's The Office coming? When's The Office coming?" And people finally got it.
Well, The Office has been going on for what now? Well, I guess it hasn't been going on, but people still watch the reruns religiously.
Yeah, it's one. Actually, I always thought it was weird that people say, "Oh, you're watching something," like, "No, I'm just gonna rewatch the whole series of of The Office." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I've only seen a couple episodes. I've definitely seen a ton of memes. I mean, I feel like if you don't know what The Office is,
you've seen a Dwight meme.
You've seen a Dwight meme, so then you know what The Office is. You know what it's from. You find out what it's from, and it's cool that they did this because now people are gonna say, "Okay, we got our wave. We got our Office wave."
I mean, I don't think Steve Carell's that funny. Hot take there, but
oh my!
But yeah, there are like a million different pops you could do for The Office, also just because there was so many episodes and them doing so many wacky things.
Exactly, and I think it'd be fitting, and they did a good job. But with the community wave, I think it's cool that they did this. Community wasn't long lasting, but fun fact: if you like Rick and Morty, then you would like the Community, because it's the same creator. But
I also don't like Rick and Morty. Another hot take
there.
Oh
Lord, well, that's okay. That's fine. That's definitely reasonable. But Dan Harmon created that. But they have, if you're in on it, they have Troy and Abed in the morning. Their little comedy skit, TV show, news show. So it's cool that they actually did that perfectly. So people were also asking for that. Seeing a lot of people ask for that, and they got it. They actually missed Chevy Chase and another character, Britta. But we'll see what happens there.
Damn, you always need more Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
I do like that they also did another revival of the Ghostbusters. We haven't seen the Ghostbusters like the Simpsons in probably like 7 or 8 years now. And then they really hammered home a lot of Ghostbusters stuff. They showed Mystery Minis. There was a 10-inch Stay Puft, which a lot of people have wanted because, since they brought back the 10 inches, they're like, damn.
It has to be,
yeah. Where you at?
Yeah, and then he got it. And this is interesting because they just announced the new Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, there was the teaser trailer. I guess we won't talk about that one that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, people weren't fans of that, but it's cool that once the hype was created and you're gonna revive it, there wouldn't be a better time to revive it now. And they went and kind of hit you with everything they could. You got 4 different pictures which have like so many different characters on it that you could get.
And then we saw them debut something. I'm not sure what they're gonna call it now, but. You saw a couple different ones. For Ghostbusters, they showed Peter with the Firehouse. And, as iconic as a lot of different characters that they've made are, the buildings and the houses in different shows, you could argue, are as iconic as the characters. Like, they have their own personality.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to see what they're going to do with that. Is it going to be, what does it come in? How big are the actual sizes of the house, like the Firehouse? And you're going to see something soon that we're also going to talk about. Like what made them decide to do that? What are they calling it? Are they just calling it a pop? Is it like a pop ride, but it's not a pop ride, like pop?
Yeah, it's a pop
building.
Pop building.
Yeah, you don't know what they can do.
Because from the concept art pictures, it seems like the house is about like a 6-inch.
Yeah.
And, for those people who are hammer home scale, you're like, oh, well, the Firehouse is 10 times bigger than, or 100 times bigger than Peter Venkman.
Yeah. So you don't know. I mean, I think they're definitely going to clarify probably when they start announcing the actual announcements on their page outside of just like, here's what's going to happen, this is what you're going to get. They'll actually go through into it.
So I guess, we're already playing with like dolls, so now they got to give us doll houses, right?
Yeah,
kind
exactly.
of thing.
Yeah, there you go. It's the next progression, and I think they're doing a good job. But after all that, we have our favorite, the piece de resistance, with the late. No, he's not dead. The great SpongeBob, Gary the Snail, and his pineapple house. This is something that we talked about at London Toy Fair. They didn't announce it then. We were wondering why. We saw the picture of SpongeBob with Gary, and we said, why didn't they announce this one? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, because they announced like the revival of the SpongeBob line with Patrick and Squidward and SpongeBob. And then we saw like a leaked picture of Gary and SpongeBob, and we were like, yo, where it at?
Yeah, and then they finally showed it here. And this one also, because it has the house, we're saying, okay, so this is the continuation of them doing the house. And you can see that there's other stuff going on with the house. You have the, Scooby-Doo with his house, other stuff going on where you can see. So they're definitely pushing this, and that's why it's cool that they have the SpongeBob with the pineapple.
Yeah, I hope to see, if they're going to do this, you'd like to have Squidward and the Tiki house and Patrick and the Rock, but is there any famous houses that you'd have on your mind?
You could go TV shows, you can go cartoons, you can do movies. I mean, really, there's a lot that they could do to think of it. I mean, the fact that they did something like this is like, that's perfect. But then they did something generic, like with Scooby-Doo, they did him with just a haunted house. So then it's like, okay, so what's something that's iconic to a character? What is something that comes up at the same time as a character, It's kind of weird. But I think that there's like you were saying, if you take a TV show, Full House, let's just say.
Yeah, the name is
literally it is the house. It's just, if you see, you might be like, oh, I think I know what that's from. Stuff like that.
Right. The possibilities now are endless, and it's just something to add to your wish list. I guess just off the top of my head, like Flintstones, Simpsons, like you said, Full House, or I guess it could be anything,
Yeah, like I said, it could be. They have a lot of options to do with this. They just keep, increasing. You could do stuff with from Marvel. You could do like
like Avengers Tower.
Yeah, Avengers Tower. That's exactly what I was gonna say. So it's like
Baxter Building. A million things there.
Yeah, you could do freaking the Wayne Manor, or it's just like
the X Mansion.
Yeah, it's just insane. The Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah,
literally anything.
I guess the thing is now we also want to see how big they are to see how much space they're going to take up.
Yeah, that's really what I'm worried about, because the Pineapple House doesn't look that big, but the Firehouse looked really big.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would make sense. I think that one looked more like a 10-inch than a 6-inch.
Yeah, because the pineapple looks as big as SpongeBob, so I don't know. The art, it's hard to tell from the art, so I guess we'll have to see when the full models are out.
But that doesn't do it for us, guys. We gave you our highlights. There are so many pops here. Like we said, we really couldn't cover it. It probably would take a couple videos to go through every single one individually. But you have everything. You have Pez. You have new announcements. You have revivals. You have new waves.
Yeah, where's the Dorbs at, though?
Dorbs. Oh my! I am shocked. Actually, they don't have any Dorbs.
I think Funko knew what people wanted to see. They wanted pops, and they gave it to us.
Yeah, I mean that's their biggest wave. That's their biggest moneymaker. So that's what they got going on.
Biggest take from this though: London Toy Fair, New York Toy Fair. What were you digging more?
For us, I think just the position we're in. I think London Toy Fair was way better for us.
Damn, you're gonna.
Yeah.
Even with the 70-ish drops.
That's what I mean. They had about 30 more announcements than London Toy Fair. I still think London was better, just because it's geared more towards ones that we wanted and were shocked to see.
I definitely agree. A lot of things I was surprised not to see from New York. Very limited Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No Stranger Things.
No Stranger Things. Pretty much no video games were announced. I think Castlevania was the only one.
And then they had those Street Fighter
and the
toys.
Street Fighter, the little action figures.
That was the biggest takeaway for me. London had Persona, and it had Gears, had a lot of video game stuff. This had zero video game stuff. And I mean, we got Simpsons, we got Spring Boob, but
yeah, no, and it comes down to where we're at, what we like more, and they gave us some stuff, but I think London, because it could have been the hype more of London too. They came out with some very specific stuff. I think they wanted to be more a heavy hitters as opposed to so many.
But there is a lot to look forward to for this year, and I mean we're only in February, so we'll see what else they got first in the coming year.
We've said this before. This is kind of their beginning of the year announcements, and then when it gets to San Diego Comic-Con, they do their second half.
Yeah, then they do a second wave kind of.
So it's this is something this is good, and then we're going to get more. So keep your head up, keep your eyes out, keep looking. Some of these pups are starting to hit stores already. You can pre-order a lot of them on the Funko shop or from stores already. But that is going to do it for us. If you have any of these pops that you want to know more information about, let us know down below. Reach out to us. Let us know your favorite pops that are coming out. So many to look forward to. But that doesn't do it for us. Andrew, let's sign them out. As always,
happy hunting.